Calgary. How are you doing today? My name is Lanre Ajayi, your community advocate and a passionate Calgarian. On October 20th, Calgarians will be heading to the polls to elect the next mayor. And my job is to create an opportunity for you, bringing this individual up close and personal to share the vision, the passion, why they're running for this office in the city of Calgary. And this day, today, this beautiful morning, I have the honor of welcoming an amazing person running for the office of the mayor of Calgary. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jeromy Farkas. How are you, Jeromy?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. The tie is on point.
Well, this is the Calgary tartan. It reflects Calgary's history, but there's a lot of different colors mismatched all in there. And it's my way as a Hungarian that I get to wear a Scottish tie.
Amazing. Now, to me as an artist, I see multiculturalism, I see diversity, I see inclusivity, I see culture, explosion in that tie.
Yeah, to me, it's really what Calgary represents. I grew up in East Calgary, in Forest Lawn, Dover. I was so blessed. My family came as immigrants. My dad was a refugee to Calgary, and they were able to build a great Canadian life. And all the colors in the tie and all the amazing communities that make Calgary what it is. I think that's a great reminder every day in terms of the work that we're doing, not just in the politics, but also you and others that have really leaned into this upcoming election to be able to bring Calgarians into these discussions.
Thank you very much. So I have just 5 questions, but probably 2 in between. And I'm just going to start with the core motivation and your background. And it's a very simple question that, why are you running for mayor of Calgary now? And what specific moment or issue inspired you to step forward?
I'm running because I'm ready, because our city is ready. We got to be able to build a safer and affordable city, one where every single Canadian, every single Calgarian has that opportunity to be able to thrive. So I was very blessed to be able to live a great Canadian life in a newcomer family in East Calgary. I want to be able to pay that forward so that every single Calgarian has what we need. We need jobs we can count on. We need housing we can afford. We need safe streets for our kids. And we also need at City Hall leadership that we can trust. This is a big moment for our city. In the last 4 years alone, about 300,000 brand new Calgarians arrived to call the city home. That's a huge challenge, but I think it's also a big opportunity. These people bring the skills, talents that are needed for us to continue to succeed as a city, but it's going to bring some services and infrastructure challenges. So over the next decade, it's quite likely that Calgary is going to grow to be a city of 3 million people, each and every one of us with hopes and dreams, just like my dad had for me as a kid. And I want to make sure that Calgary lives up to that we're prepared for that growth, and that every single Calgarian has that access to a safe, affordable city where we can all thrive.
Amazing. I asked you why you don't running, and you said, I'm running because I'm ready. And that leads me to this question that, what unique lead or professional experience do you bring that prepares you to lead the city at this point in time?
Well, I've been so grateful for the opportunities that Calgarians have given me. I've been really blessed to have served as one of Calgary's youngest city councillors ever elected. Incredibly grateful for the opportunity to serve on a number of boards, including Calgary Housing Company. Also got the chance to be able to serve as a Calgary Police Commissioner. In the time following the 2021 election as well, I was able to really sharpen my skill set, got certified as a wilderness first responder, was able to embark on this amazing journey over 172 days between Mexico, back home to Canada, and to Calgary.
Wow.
Really building and leading high-functioning teams as a nonprofit director, having been involved with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Alex Community Health Center in East Calgary, where I grew up, and most recently as a nonprofit CEO. So through all of that, I've been able to bring together folks across party lines, bringing together progressives and conservatives, grassroots and business leaders, to really be able to get things done. And this is the moment for Calgary for us to prepare for those future challenges, but also to do the hard work here and now and to ensure that Calgary remains safe, that we're affordable, that everyone has the access to the housing, the opportunity, everything that we need to continue to be a welcoming city where everybody can thrive.
Amazing. Now I'm going to go to your vision for Calgary. Now this question is kind of, it's going to put you to work from day one, that if elected, what would your top priority be on day one, and how would you achieve it?
Well, the job number one of the mayor is going to be to bring together this city council to pull in the same direction for Calgarians. And one of the reasons I've chosen to run as an independent without a political party is so that I can do that, so that I can be a mayor who can work with both a Liberal Prime Minister and a Conservative Premier. And I think that given a lot of the dysfunction and the issues and the infighting that we've seen from our mayor and council today, this idea of a party takeover of city council is the exact wrong direction for Calgarians. We need to be practical. We need to be pragmatic. We need to be attacking the problems and not the people. And that's the kind of leadership that I want to bring. Of course, there's big issues around affordability, around safety, around housing. But the only way to actually break the logjam and move forward on those issues for Calgarians is by being practical. It's by bringing together the team so that city council can actually advance a lot of those goals. Things like building out our transit infrastructure, building the housing that Calgarians need, keep taxes affordable. None of that's possible if we have a city council that's divided on itself. And I feel very strongly about keeping these political parties out of the city council decisions.
Amazing. Now, Calgary, I'm going to go back to your tie. And I say when I look at this tie, it speaks of diversity, multiculturalism to me as an artist. And that set me on a tone for this next question, that Calgary is a city of diverse communities, cultures, orientation, belief system, different looks. How will you ensure all voices are heard in your decision making?
Well, for me, I've been so blessed to have grown up in East Calgary, where one of my neighbors was Filipino, the other was Vietnamese. The experience I had growing up as a kid in the community was so rewarding, so fruitful. I remember around the kitchen table, my neighbors inviting me for dinner, and even just the smells, the foods, all of that was a real reminder. And it was actually afterwards, after I had been able to explore by bus more of the city, that I didn't realize that some other parts of the city weren't so blessed with that type of variety and diversity. One thing I'd like to remind folks is that Calgary is now a majority BIPOC city. So a majority of Calgarians are Black, Indigenous, or person of color. And many of them came to Calgary to be able to succeed, to build a new life. But the vast majority of them actually came here to build this city. So when we think of about a third of Calgarians today were not just born outside of Calgary, but born outside of this country, that's amazing. And what it shows, based on the fact that these are incredibly skilled, talented individuals coming to choose to make Calgary home, what it tells us is that it's the world's brightest minds who are coming to Calgary to be able to solve the world's toughest problems. I think that that's so exciting. And even the fact that this community welcomed people like my father as a refugee who came here with nothing and really had to rebuild their life. The immigrant's story for a lot of folks is them coming with resources, with investment, wanting to create jobs in our community. So I think it's such a value add. It really shows how Calgary's potential, and I think our story is not yet fully written. What I loved, and I still love so much about the city, is that my father was Calgarian the moment he arrived. You think about some other cities in the United States and in Canada, it might take you a while to kind of get established, but the moment my dad arrived, he was Calgarian, which is amazing. And I think in the point in our story, we're now at a point where we're now old enough to know, but still young enough to do. So it's a very exciting time here in Calgary, and I think all of that diversity, all of the fact that so many people can come here from some other places to be able to succeed, to offer something of value to the rest of us, I think that that's so exciting.
Cool. Now we're going to the critical issues. You mentioned in your conversation the issue of affordability, safety, and all of that. Now, affordable housing is a growing challenge in Calgary. What is your plan to ensure Calgarians can afford to live here?
So we've put out a detailed housing plan. I don't think it's enough for politicians to tell you what the problem is. I think we have to come to the table with the solutions. How are we going to fix it? How are we going to focus on the problems and not just attack the people? I think that is so important. In our housing plan, we call for a targeted approach. We call for help to renters. We call for help to builders, to the nonprofit community, to homeowners, as well as to the city administration, who is also responsible through the planning department. But I think through taking a targeted approach approach, focusing the investment and the development to happen close to LRT stations, close to education, close to employment. That's the way that we provide the housing at the speed, the scale, and the price point that Calgarians can afford.
Also, public safety concerns are rising. What's your approach to addressing crime while fostering community trust?
So we similarly have a public safety plan that we've proposed and put out into the community. And it calls really for two parts. We need to address the issues that are causing Calgarians not to feel safe, particularly in the downtown and close to the transit system. We need to address the immediate safety and personal security concerns. And we also need to be proactive. We need to be preventative. Some of my most rewarding work in my career has been with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, youth mentorship. We need to be funding the prevention as well as the immediate safety for Calgarians. It can't be one or the other. It can't be just social workers. It can't be just the cops. We need to be able to support the immediate safety and security, as well as ensure that everyone in the system and chain is held accountable.
Cool. Now, in terms of leadership and collaboration, you mentioned something about a Liberal Prime Minister, conservative, a Premier, and, all that. Now, how will you work with provincial federal government or provincial and federal government to secure resources for Calgary?
So I think we've got to be practical, and that's one of the big reasons I'm not running with a political party. I need to be able to work across the aisle with everybody, and that includes not just the city councillors that I'll be working with every day as mayor, but also the provincial and federal governments. We need to be practical. We need to be willing to work together to pull in the same direction. And as I'm speaking to Calgarians, they're telling me that they don't care whose responsibility is what. They just want the job done. They want Calgary to be more affordable. They want Calgary to be safer. They want to make sure that the needed investment in housing and transit and all of the infrastructure is done. And that's the way we actually do it, is by working together, finding common cause, and focusing on what unites us rather than what divides us. And there is an element to that to make sure that our local mayor and council are advocating for us to make sure that we get the best possible deals. And I think what we've seen with this council is they've given up a lot of the leverage. So for example, we know with the arena deal, the vast majority of the money for this new arena is being spent by the taxpayers, with the vast majority of the money going to the private Flames ownership, right? So this is just an example of, I think, how the mayor and council need to be strong. They need to assert themselves and be willing to collaborate.
Amazing. Now let's talk about your personal connection with Calgary. What's your favorite thing about Calgary that you will never change?
Well, I mentioned my favorite thing about Calgary is the moment you arrive here, you are Calgarian. When I think about, not to knock other cities, but there are some other cities where, people may arrive and stay there a while, but still not feel like they're connected. But the fact that Calgary is home to so many different cultures, that everybody can succeed here. Like, look at my own personal story. I'm probably one of the first in my family to be able to finish high school, to finish university, went on to become one of Calgary's youngest city councillors. Stories like mine, they're not the exception in a place like Calgary. They're very much the rule. So the fact that we're a welcoming city, and that doesn't mean that we ignore the challenges around safety and affordability for the Calgarians who live here today, but I want to make sure that we're still continuing to welcome the world. We got this. There's going to be a lot of challenges around that growth, but I think more than anything, it's an opportunity. It's our moment to shine, and it's really this next decade which is going to prove just how amazing we are.
Cool. Outside of politics, I know you've done some running, around, all of that. What is your passion outside of politics, and how does it shape your leadership?
I'm so grateful for the fact that I've been able to contribute in so many different ways. I would say it's mentorship. So when I was young, I had so many incredible mentors reach out, and I grew up in, not a great neighborhood, but I always felt that I was supported, that my neighbors, my community, teachers would stay late after class, coaches would take an interest in me. It's that thread of mentorship that really is my passion. And even as a young city councillor, was involved in mentoring various students at Mayoral University and University of Calgary. And it was after I lost the 2021 election that it was those students who I was mentoring who worked the hardest to get me off the mat afterwards. And it really got to teach me who my friends were. And I would say it's that common thread that every Calgarian has something to offer, something to teach their neighbor.
Cool. Now, here's the part where you're going to finish the sentence by looking into the camera here. This is the sentence you're going to finish. Calgarians should vote for me because. So you tell the audience.
Calgarians should vote for me because I'm ready to get to work. Ready to build a city that's safer, more affordable, where every single one of us can thrive.
Amazing. Now you hear from Jeromy Farkas and running for mayor of Calgary. Now, on September 15, we're going to be bringing these candidates to a town hall meeting and an election debate night, second of its kind in the history of our city. I want to invite you to join us on September 15 at the Central Library, Patricia A. Whelan Hall, 5 p.m. on the dot. Go to ethnicfestival.com to register, because if you don't register, you're going to come. So you can go watch on my YouTube channel to learn about Jeromy and leave a question if you want to ask a question from him. I will make sure that the question gets to him. You can join us at the Central Library September 15. Any last word for our audience before you go?
Well, thanks so much for the opportunity, and thanks so much for the great work that you guys too, as well as in the arts community, man. Like you were such incredible leaders, and the fact that you're leveraging your network to pull Calgarians into this discussion. You know, an election is a lot of things. It's not just about the politicians asking for votes. It's really that conversation about what kind of city do we want to be when we grow up, right? So the fact that you're leveraging that, pulling Calgarians into this discussion, I think that is so exciting. So thank you, Lanre, as well as your team for your leadership.
Thank you very much. Behind the camera, we have Motif, Sam Obadero, we have Bolu. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.